done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through on Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam, and as always I'm joined by my co-host and very best friend in the whole wide world, Elliot. Elliot, I'm not going to ask you how you are yet, because we are going to, I think that's how we're pretty much going to start.
It's going to be quite evident.
So I'll let everyone know that I'm doing fine. I've had an alright week, nothing really to talk about in my side of life. However, I feel like the first 10-15 minutes or so, I might take a bit of a back seat. So, Elliot, let's talk about Hull.
Yeah, we're going to have to, aren't we? Because it's, well, on, Tuesday night, we were the joke of the country. I was going out, I was just doing like a kind of run thing with friends, and I was going out just after 6 o'clock. Game kicks off at 6 o'clock. We concede within a minute, which has been a running theme of us since the restart. And then we do the bit of our run, and I check my phone. Half time, 7-0. What? Oh dear! Like,
just to let you know,
Yeah.
I fed Jacob, put Jacob to sleep, started cooking dinner, and in that time, Hull conceded 7 goals.
like, okay, I know we're not particularly good, but Jesus Christ, that is some going, isn't it? Like, we must have tried.
7-0 at half time.
Yeah, like I remember talking to my friends who I was with. Like, it's a weird game when you'd happily take 8-0 finish in full time. But honestly,
no more goals.
We didn't. I mean, it's the difference between Wigan, who absolutely want it. They want to stay in the league. They've unjustly got a 12-point deduction, and they are doing everything in their power. Every player is giving their absolute all to stay in the league. Yep. And compare that to a team that want to avoid the league because they've got no hope and they've got no fight, no passion, no desire to stay up.
And obviously following a few, the love and the passion just seems to have been drained, and it's shocking to see. You don't like seeing it with any club, but.
Yeah, and you asked me after that game, if I had gone to the game, if we were allowed into the ground, and it was a big game, which I would have at least looked into going to, would I have left early? Would I have left at half time? And I'm not one for leaving early. I'm really not. I'm really against it. I don't like it when you go to games and you're seeing fans streaming out 5-10 minutes before the end. But I would have considered it. Yeah, at 7-0 down, you're thinking, oh, that win's got to be strong to bring us back into the second half.
I mean, his press conference, Grant McCann's press conferences, when he does show up for one. Yes. Obviously, the most recent one he didn't. Mm-hmm. His press, he doesn't seem to inject much passion, much belief into the fans, for the fans to believe. So when you're 7-0 down at half time, what on earth are you saying in that dressing room?
If that was me, I'd resign. I'd just say, that's it, boys. You're not playing for me. You're not playing for the club. So what's the point of me being here? Have a good second half. I'll see you in a bit. But But what shocks me is, first of all, he is showing absolutely no sign that he has any desire to leave the club.
No.
And even more surprisingly, the club has no desire to get rid of him.
They seem to, from judging from his most recent comments, he seems to be ready for League One. Yeah, he's talking about, it's better to go down than rebuild and go up.
Yeah, he said we might need a step back to step forwards, and what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and everything like that. The thing that got me, we haven't even touched on yesterday's game.
We'll get there, yeah.
But one of his comments that came from yesterday's game is he was asked by Burnsy, who's the local radio person. He interviewed him after the game, and he said, Grant, we didn't have a shot on target in the game. And he goes, yeah, that's something we've got to work on. But Grant, we're relegated. We've got 6 points since the 2nd of January. At that stage, we were 8th in the league. And at that stage, you probably only need 10 points to stay up. That's in January. We're now here we're still playing football in mid to late July. And we're 6 points better off than we were in January. And I'm not sure, not just the Championship, I'm not sure there's a league in England that's seen a capitulation like we have done in this second half of the season.
Just to go back on that comment that you made yesterday about you haven't had a shot on target. Oh yeah, that's something you need to work. What do you mean that's something you need to work on? That's basic football. Yeah. Just have a shot. something you need to work on. In training, do you want to go, right, okay, whoops, the whole scoring goals. I haven't really been training on that. We should probably do that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll start training on scoring goals. It's football, Grant. So, since the turn of the year, well, since January the 2nd, because we won on New Year's Day against Sheffield Wednesday. So, yeah, we picked up 6 points. The only win we've got in that time was a few weeks ago against Middlesbrough 2-1, which at the time was a massive victory, but we were absolutely diabolical. We should have lost that game. You look back at the other games that we got points. Birmingham, we started well. We were 3-2 up going in last few minutes, conceding the 88th minute, and we could have very easily lost that game. Yeah. Then you look back to Valentine's Day, Hull City 4, Swansea 4, where, again, 94th minute goal to rescue 1 point.
Right.
And then the other game that we managed to pick up a point was Reading away with 10 minutes to play, Malik Wilkes. But again, I don't think we deserved to even be in that game. But we could have very easily got 0 points from January till now.
No, obviously, looking at yesterday, it took Luton to the 85th minute to score. And it was a good goal. I've seen the goal. It was a decent strike from distance.
Yeah.
And you could tell just from the reaction of the Luton players and staff when that goal went in, how much that meant to them. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking to myself, if Hull had scored that goal in the 85th minute, would there have been that same reaction?
I don't think it would have been that reaction of just sort of excitement, happiness, whatever Luton reacted like. I think it would have just been more relief. And barring an absolute miracle, we are going down. And even if we had stayed up, even just by the skin of our teeth, that would not have been an achievement from where we were in January.
No.
It would have been the ultimate get out of jail free card, but looks like we've got a life sentence in jail rather than get out of jail free.
So, for Hull City to avoid relegation, they have to win at Cardiff. Blackburn
you could stop there. You can stop there. That's not happening.
That's it, right? So, Hull have to win at Cardiff. Blackburn have to win at Luton. Fulham have to stop Wigan from winning. And Barnsley have to fail to beat Brentford. That's a lot to ask for.
Yeah, I think you can get, for it to happen, I think you can get around 100 to 1 for Hull to stay up, and it's not happening. We're doomed, basically, and it's been a long time coming, and the worst thing is it's been utterly avoidable. Without the mismanagement of Ihab Alam, I'm convinced that we would have been an established Premier League side 5 years down the line of where we were.
I mean, it's not like you sold your top scorer and most valuable player on the last minute of deadline day. You had enough time to at least bring in a replacement. Why would decent owners and management do that? Oh wait, no, Hull have not got decent owners and management.
But the Jared Bowen sale, I could see it makes financial sense. The lad wasn't going to sign a new deal because it would have taken something special for us to have somehow gone up with the teams that are in the league.
And Hull probably would have offered $5,000 a week.
Yeah, at a push. But the one that really doesn't make sense to me is Kamil Grzycki. We sold him for around $1 million, give or take a little bit either way. And he's only really a squad player in a decent West Brom side, but he would have been enough to have kept us up easily. He's extremely creative. He was our second top goal scorer behind Bowen. He still is our second top goal scorer. And But yeah, that one is more of a strange one, even if you just see him through till the summer and then move him on at that stage where you've got time to sort of replace and rebuild the squad a little bit. But now we're going to have to rebuild for League One.
So, League One, Hull City are in League One, is something that aren't on our notes and I didn't prep you for, but it's off the cuff, I think this is good.
Yeah.
League One, couple questions. So, are you keeping the manager?
No, simply just on his comments, really, and he's been so stubborn in not changing his system. He's really wound up a lot of the fan base, and I think it's best for both parties if he does not continue.
No, that's fine. And who are you keeping? Who are you letting go? Who do you want to keep for that fight back up?
I can only think of 2 players who we will probably sell simply on them being too good for League One, which is current captain, Jordi Device, our 3rd captain of the year. And because he is our best defender, at least, if not our best player. Then we have got better midfielder, but Leo da Silva Lopez, I know he's played in League One with Gillingham. I think he's played with Millwall and
Wigan,
Peterborough, from Wigan. But he's been one of our better players this season. And there were offers in January. There was offers from New York Red Bulls for him. And if another bid comes in for him like that, I think he'd go.
Yeah.
Then we've got the usual out of contracts ones like Kevin Stewart, who again is one of our best players, but we won't be able to afford anywhere near his wages. Well, we can afford it, we just won't pay it. But beyond that, I don't really know. We don't really have an awful lot of quality in the team.
If you get League One Gillingham Tom Eaves playing for Hull,
that's the thing. I think we need
score us goals.
I think we need a manager who will play two up front, because I think we need Tom Eaves, and I think we need to play. We've got a youngster, Keane Lewis Potter, who's been very good whenever he's come off the bench. And I think we need that little and large sort of, the Peter Crouch and Defoe sort of partnership up front. And I think in League One that could be a dangerous strike force, but you don't know to what extent we'll even recruit players, because our owner's going to think, you know what, let's have a good go at League One and try and get back up, or are they just going to think we're here now, that's it?
Yeah. No, that's right. And obviously we get our game next season.
Yes.
We get our Gillingham beat Hull. First time me and you are ever in the opposing ends that we've ever been there. So
I think the last time they played each other was something like 26 or 27 years ago.
It was 87 or 88. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Gillingham won, by the way. So hopefully we can carry on that form.
Yeah. We've just got to hope that it is once fans are allowed back into the stadium, because that would be so annoying.
I tell you what, if one of the games is in September, because obviously October when fans are allowed in,
when they're talking about it, yeah.
So we'll have to see on that. Obviously, from my point of view, I've wanted to see this. Obviously, I've wanted to be in the opposite ends for quite a while. Looking forward to that. But I tell you what, Elliot, we'll move on slightly from Hull. We'll try and see if there's a topic to cheer you up. Leeds won the title.
Yeah, no, it's depressing, isn't it?
So obviously we do it with every team that go up and everything like that. Yeah. Massive congratulations to Leeds, who have not only been promoted but Brentford losing points. We'll get onto that in a second. Yeah. They've been crowned champions of the Championship. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time coming. 16 years.
16 years.
Premier League. I was reading a few stats and stuff, like since they were last in the Premier League, Apple released the first iPhone and then 19 others. That's quite some time.
Wow.
No, over the course of the season,
over 46 games, they've been the best team in the league. Now, I don't want to take anything away from Leeds, but over maybe the last 30 games, I think Brentford have been the best team in the league, but Leeds have had that longevity, and it's been a while coming, in truth.
No, that's it. And Marco Bielsa, obviously, he has turned Leeds around. I know, obviously, last season, past couple of seasons, they bottled it a little bit.
Yeah.
However, they seem to have got everything right this season.
Yeah.
Like, they bounced back from games they've lost. Mm-hmm. The stupid games. They lost it, when they lost 1-0 to Wigan, didn't they? And But since then, But
even today, even once they've been crowned champions, they went 1-0 down to Derby and ended up winning the game 3-1.
3-1.
It's those kind of games. But yeah, as a Hull City fan, as someone who doesn't particularly like Leeds, it's been a difficult watch, but these things happen in football, and over the course of the 46 games, they deserve it.
No, I can't say fairer than that. I want to ask you a question with Leeds. Obviously, I know we keep touching upon how do you think they'll do next season, but now that they're officially there, can you? If the trouble is with teams that go up, it can really go either way. They invest, and they become a Villa and a Fulham. Looks obviously Fulham went straight down. Villa not confirmed, but it looks like they're all potentially down. Or do they do not the boring way, so to speak, but they don't spend too much money? Sheffield United, Burnley. Burnley have done it as well, and they just stay. They've stayed in the Premier League. Sheffield United pushing for Europe. Burnley have been in Europe as well.
Yeah,
they played in Europe, and they've been. I would very much 9 years they've been in the Premier League now.
Something like that. Yes, something like that.
I think I'll put my hand on it and say that they're an established Premier League team. I think
Burnley
now,
yes, yeah.
So where in that category can you see Leeds potentially going next season?
So I don't know kind of the fan. I don't think at the moment Leeds have an awful lot of money. I think they borrowed money against promotion. I think they got this French striker Augustin. I think it was Monaco they got him in from. And they had a clause where they had him on loan from January with the obligation to buy for an enormous amount if they got promoted. So they're kind of already borrowing against promotion. But I don't know if there's going to be new investment into the club or anything like that. But I do think they need some big investment to be comfortable.
I think from what... Obviously, we watch a lot of Championship. We watch a lot of league football. And from what I've seen of Leeds this season, they need a striker. Don't get me wrong, Bamford's done his job and he's got them promoted, but you can't rely on him to keep you up, I don't think. And a keeper. Kiko Casilla is one of the most inconsistent goalkeepers. He's so rash. He'll run out 30 yards when there's like 3 Leeds defenders getting the ball comfortable, but all of a sudden he'll rush out and feel like he can get it. I think they need that solid... Maybe I don't know if they'll go loan. Loaning keepers seems to have done okay for promoted sides. But go up.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I agree that I don't think Bamford is the man for the Premier League. Bielsa does rate him though, because earlier in the season they had Nketiah on loan from Arsenal, and Bamford was playing over him, even though Nketiah would always score when he came on.
Yeah, and he's scoring for Arsenal as well, Nketiah.
But yeah, goalkeepers, I agree. I agree that they do need a new goalkeeper, but where they go to, I don't know.
Can't really
the first thought that pops into my head is maybe do they go for Joe Hart? But then are they looking for better than that? Are they looking for
younger, better? Yeah, well, I think Casilla and Hart would be around about the same age, I guess. But Joe Hart, he was very honest in an interview with BBC, didn't he, with like mental health and stuff, and he said he just needs a manager to put the faith in him and he'll give the faith back. Now, obviously, Torino, West Ham didn't exactly go to plan, and Burnley, I think you've got Nick Pope playing ahead of you.
Yeah.
If he goes to Leeds, obviously, it could be a fresh start. It's weird how we're talking about Joe Hart like this. Like, would he make it in a Leeds squad? Do you know, like, if we were saying this 3 or 4 years ago? But no, I personally think Leeds will stay up.
Right, okay.
How long and how consistent they will remain in the Premier League, I don't know. Purely, and the reason I say that is with no disrespect to Leeds. I don't say it anyway at all. I've got nothing against Leeds, I don't really care. But one of us has to be at least non-biased, don't we? But when you've been out of the Premier League for 16 years, like, the times have changed, and are Leeds ready for it? Are Leeds? It's not like they've just done a quick bounce back and they know how to change and how to adapt. It's a long time out of the Premier League to come back. So I reckon they'll stay up. I reckon they'll do it. I think they've got a good enough manager.
Right.
You know, the stadium and atmosphere at Ellen Road, when it gets going, I think is a massive key. You know, games like against Man United. I'm looking forward to that next season. So I think they'll definitely do it. But consistency-wise, are they going to stay? Are they going to become that Premier League side that they used to be? You know, challenging for Europe and stuff. Oh, it's a long way off to think about yet. But no, congratulations. Obviously, big congratulations. It's well deserved. Coming on to, obviously, want to stay on the Championship with Brentford. They had the chance to go into that automatic promotion spot.
Yeah.
Going into the final game, where I think they only would have needed a point.
Yeah.
Just to go up.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Stoke come in and, you know, snatch the win from Brentford, which keeps them in third, 1 point off West Brom.
Yeah.
I think Fulham are, like, there as well.
Fulham, with one game to play, Fulham could potentially still get automatic promotion. There'll be massive outsiders because they need West Brom and Brentford both to lose with them winning, but it's still possible with one game to go.
No, they haven't. The goal difference-wise, it's a bit of a difference. Obviously, West Brom have 32, Brentford have 43, and Fulham have 16.
Oh.
So, yeah, a bit of it. But obviously, they need Brentford to lose at home to Barnsley. Now, Barnsley won against Forest, Notts Forest, who are still in that playoff position, clinging on, but they're still there. They need West Brom to lose at home to QPR, who, I don't know.
QPR, I don't think, have been massively interested since the restart. They weren't going up and they're not going down, so not a lot to play for.
About. And obviously Fulham need to beat Wigan, who are desperate to win. So it's this final, I love it. I love this part of the Championship where it is the final day of the season, and like, other than the champions, there is still everything. So much. And obviously going into this final game, there's that final playoff spot. Obviously Notts Forest and Cardiff make up the two, but they're both level on points and 70, with Swansea 3 points off So they could still do it. And the relegation battle, obviously, we touched upon it with Hull, Luton and Barnsley. Normally around about this stage of the season, obviously not in July, but more in May, at least one or two teams have already gone down. But this is all three of them can still
mathematically.
Stay up. Well, yeah. And obviously we're looking at Charlton, who are taking up that spot just outside the relegation zone, but they're only doing it on goal difference by -11 and Luton of -29. And Birmingham, Birmingham? That's something we haven't really talked about Birmingham relegation battle. And Middlesbrough's still there, but
since the restart, Birmingham have lost a lot of games. I mean, it shows how bad they are that we managed to get a point against them. And at that point, their manager Pep Collette had already announced he was leaving at the end of the season. He's since been sacked, and they've just slowly been dropping. But
they
I do
are
think
2 points off the relegation. So I think they're safe. But when you talk about that, you think Charlton, Luton, Barnsley, Hull, and Middlesbrough, obviously. And
then obviously you got Wigan with their 12-point deduction that you've got to. It's a real difficult one to try and calculate, because you're looking at the bottom of the table as you naturally would, but then you're looking at 13th and minus in numbers, and then you've got to work out where they are. And and it's still to be announced whether Sheffield Wednesday are going to get a points deduction for financial fair play.
That's true, and they're on 2 less points than Wigan at the moment.
That's really got to be announced by Wednesday, really, because Wigan won't know. Wigan won't know whether to play for a point or play for a win, because that would just be dependent on whether Sheffield Wednesday get a points deduction or not.
Right.
But it's a crazy season this season.
It's a huge final day, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait. And obviously, Brentford, West Brom, Fulham. Who do you think's got that final promotion spot automatic?
I would fancy West Brom, simply just because they had that. They made that mistake on Friday, and it's a massive let-off that Brentford didn't capitalise on it, and that's just got to be the team talk in the changing rooms. We've somehow got away with this. We need to make sure we get the job done now.
I know. Obviously, Barnsley being in that relegation spot, it's easy to say that maybe Brentford have the easier game out of the two, but no. I think West Brom are facing a QPR, as you said. They're fine, they're chilling. Brentford are facing a Barnsley side that are fighting for their lives in the league.
Come the last game of the season, you want to be playing someone mid-table with nothing to play for. You don't want to be playing against someone who's going to scrap and try all they can to stay up.
So I think, I based on that, I think West Brom just have that advantage, just have the edge there. But then obviously come the playoffs, you've got to fancy Brentford winning those playoffs. I
think that it might be. So we're as good as down. I'd expect Barnsley to not get the win against Brentford, so they'd join us. And although then they maybe wouldn't be favourites at the moment, I'd maybe think Charlton, because Charlton have to go to Leeds, and even with the teams at the bottom scrapping as much as they are, to beat a Leeds team that are on a high of winning the league.
And they'll be lifted. They all know at the end of the game they're lifting that championship. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited for this. Wednesday's a day off for me as well, so I can get all nice and prepared.
Yeah, I normally enjoy the last game of the season. Maybe not this one.
No, this is odd. This obviously, you said the last time this happened with you. Obviously from the Premier League, it's happened quite often. But Championship, how old were you? 11.
So the last time that we were in League One, or the last season we were in League One, I turned 9 at the beginning of that season.
9. Yeah. Wow.
For context, I'm now 24.
So I'm looking forward to that. But let's move on to genuinely. I promise you, this is happier news. Elliot.
This is good.
Promise you, this is good news.
Yeah.
Wycombe Wanderers are a championship side. Wow.
Yeah, that's enormous, really. They are in truth, they're a tiny club. They're a little family club, and I mean, I don't know their history massively well, but I'm presuming the majority of their history has been through non-league. And
yes,
I know as recent as a few years ago, just before you moved up there, they had to win on the last day of the season to stay in the league, stay in the football league.
Yeah, League 2. They did it on goal difference, I think.
Yeah, and for them to now be playing championship football is absolutely enormous. And huge, I know we've said it before, but Gareth Ainsworth has massively overachieved with Wycombe. Massively.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's wearing his boots.
Yeah,
missing band practice to play at Wembley. It's things you love to see, and you know, obviously people say it's a joke or couldn't happen to a nicer person. person, but genuinely, this could not have happened to a nicer person. Gareth Ainsworth just seems... Every player in that dressing room, I've never heard a bad word said against him.
Yeah.
Even when players have left the club or maybe been released, nothing's ever come out and gone, oh God, Ainsworth is a bit of a, an odd job. He's not. He's very himself. He doesn't look like a football manager. He just doesn't.
No, he doesn't,
looks like,
does he?
He is a proper old school Yada rocker.
Yeah, but what
he's,
a job he's done.
He's an absolute club legend. He's got, he probably has the keys to Wycombe, I reckon. Yeah. He's done that good of a job with them.
But come the beginning of this season, whatever you want to call it, they were favourites to finish rock bottom. Wherever they finish in the league, seeing as they've never played in League One before, it would have been their highest ever finish. So to finish technically third and then get into the playoffs and then win it,
I think
phenomenal job.
Wycombe had played in the League One that year before, because obviously I know Gillingham and Wycombe.
Oh right, but that was their highest. That was their record league finish.
Yes,
and then
yeah,
they could finish rock bottom next season, and it would still be their record league finish.
No, exactly right. They just avoided relegation. Coming into this season, all of a sudden they've won a few games. They're top, second. Oh well, it's Wycombe. Bye bye. No, they still stayed till Christmas. Now, granted, obviously we do have to make the disclaimer that yes, they were outside playoffs. They did vote to end the league. That was quite important. And I know Peterborough and for some reason Plymouth fans I saw a lot of. Annoyed, but okay. Right. I don't know what I missed this season, but Plymouth fans seems to hate Wycombe. If you are a Plymouth fan, listen to this. Please, honestly, let us know, because every time I saw underneath the tweets Plymouth fans going, "Oh, you cheats," I'm like, have I missed something?
Right,
Plymouth and Wycombe are not who I consider.
They're not even in the same league.
Rivals. But hey ho. So and then they have done that, but they got given the chance. Obviously, points per game. It was controversial in some instances for teams that were in the playoffs on a good run of form. Obviously knocked down. Wycombe had a great start to the season and were consistent. Yeah. You say all that, you get fans that are like, "Oh no, it's a fluke." You didn't beat them. Your team faced Wycombe and they didn't win. So what you're doing there. You can't just say that. Then they get put to third and they take their chance of going in the playoffs and they run with it, and that is what I absolutely love to see, is that they weren't that team that got thrashed and were like, oh god, what, they didn't deserve to be in the playoffs. They were like, no, we want that championship football. And Adams Park, Wayne Rooney is playing at Adams Park next season.
That's incredible.
It's mental, isn't it? I know this episode seems to be making you more and more depressed, but Wycombe are higher in a higher league than Hull. It's just not something that
that's
I could ever really comprehend, when especially living there for 5 to 6 years. We went to,
from when I visited it, it's not, you get the feeling when you go to places like Liverpool, like Birmingham, big sort of cities, they've got, or Leeds, you kind of feel that the football's sort of in their heritage. It's football's what this city's about. Wycombe, it's just a little sort of sleepy town, a little bit outside, tiny, a little bit outside London.
Obviously, for context, I lived in Wycombe, I worked in Wycombe. I could walk to my shopping, I could walk to work, I could walk into town, I could walk to the stadium. It was all kind of there. I now live in Derby, and I moved to Derby last year, and I've got to drive everywhere. I can't just nip out somewhere because it's huge. And Wycombe, it's such a small town, and obviously my old manager, Wycombe fan through. She was like in tears. She was absolutely loving it, and it was so nice to see how much that meant, to a tiny club. And that's no disrespect calling them a tiny club, because they were on the verge of administration at one point, until their American
new owners came in.
New owners came in, or shareholders, or whatever, because I think they're still owned by the fans, quite a bit of it. But you saw him as well at the stadium. And the thing I absolutely loved, and I said it about the game against Fleetwood, I was saying to Lana when we were watching it as well, is that the players were the fans on that touchline. Every time a tackle was made, God,
just
great
encouragement,
and proper clapping, everything like that. We haven't really talked much about the game yet, stats wise. Oxford were massively top. Their goal was a fluke. There's no question about it. It was a mishit cross that wasn't judged well by the keeper.
Yeah, who otherwise had a very good game.
Oh yes, also had a fantastic game, and one player that if Anthony Stewart was not playing at centre back for Wycombe, we would be talking. This segment would be talking about Oxford in the Championship.
Yeah,
because Anthony Stewart was phenomenal.
He was everywhere.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
every block, every tackle, every cross that came into the box, he either towed it away or he intercepted.
Yeah,
he was an absolute rock, and he signed a new contract.
Yes.
To play next season in the Championship, along as Akinfenwa as well has. He signed a new one-year deal.
Joe Jacobson
signed. So they've kept some key players, which is very good to see. So I'm not going to... No, we did it with Leeds.
Yeah.
I'll do it with Wycombe. I know we've talked such length and love for Wycombe. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're staying up. I don't.
So Sam, 12 months ago, when Wycombe got promotion to League One, if I'd have asked you, are Wycombe staying up, you would have said...
League One? No, I didn't think they were.
If I'd have said, are Wycombe getting promoted to the Championship, you'd have said
no.
Right. So Sam, are Wycombe getting promoted to the Premier League next season?
Well, that was a bit of a jump.
Well, are
give
they?
Give them a season. Give them a season to just about stay up, and then the following season they'll go up to the Premier League. No, So the jump from League 2 to League 1, I don't think it could be, it could be controversial, but I don't think there's too much of a gap between the quality of football between League 2 and League 1.
I think it's definitely a smaller jump than the other leagues.
That's it. The quality from League 1 to Championship, I think, is just too much.
Yeah, because then you get the fallout of the Premier League. You get teams that have just missed out on promotion. Yeah.
Money-wise, I think, obviously, that playoff win has done all right for Wycombe. Yeah. Because, again, small club, any kind of money they would have had the TV from the games that were played, TV sponsorship, and the money from winning the playoffs. So whether, obviously, I don't know. I'm not an administrator. I'm not a club financer. I don't know money. I don't really care. So whether most of that money has gone towards making the club more stable, or whether they're going to use that money to invest in some players, I definitely think next season there will be a loan.
Yeah, they'll have to be very smart with their recruitment, won't they? Yeah.
But as you said, I wouldn't have guessed Wycombe would have gone up.
Yeah.
Or stayed up last season. Stranger things have happened. Bournemouth went from League 2 straight to the Premier League. So who knows? But no, absolutely. Obviously, I felt a little bit got a little bit emotional at that game. Obviously, Wycombe being quite close to my heart. So that was really nice to see. Coming on to, obviously, Wembley is playing the big picture in these next couple of what we've just been talking about. Wycombe promoted, go to the FA Cup semi-finals. There will, I just, before we go into it, I probably will do a little bit of a segment in the future. Why Wembley hosts the semi-finals, I have absolutely no idea. I will get on, I'm sure that is something that I will talk about in length at some other point.
Yeah.
A neutral stage, just make it... anyway. It's a Arsenal versus Chelsea FA Cup final. Not what I was fully expecting. I was expecting a Manchester derby in the final.
Yes,
but we've got a London derby.
Yeah.
And Frank Lampard or Mikel Arteta, in their first seasons in charge, are winning. One of them's winning silverware.
Yeah. No, that is amazing. And you think how good a job both of them have done. Obviously, Lampard's been there this season. I don't think the season Lampard's had at Chelsea has really been spoken about enough. They're under a transfer embargo. They can't assign any players. He's come in as a relatively inexperienced manager after just one season at Derby. And
I thought it was too soon. I'll hold my hands up. I thought it was far too soon.
And it looks like he's going to probably get top 4 and very potentially get an FA Cup winners medal.
Win FA Cup.
And I think this season, yes, I agree. I probably thought at the time it was too early for Lampard, but he was under absolutely no pressure. They could have finished 8th this year and got no silverware, and people would have just said, all right, it's his first season in charge, had transfer ban, we can look forward to a better season next season. But no, fair play to him.
No, and when you think about that, obviously think about next season, the players that he's brought in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Pulisic is starting to get up form. Giroud all of a sudden seems to be scoring some goals. He seems to be becoming a bit of an important player for Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, whether Willian stays is here or there. I still think a keeper and maybe one or two assured centre backs are needed. Someone in the midfield.
There is paper talk this week of potentially them being interested in Jan Oblak, and that would be a game changer. That would be a game changer.
Speaking of Jan Oblak, now I know you think he's the best goalkeeper keeper in the world.
Yes.
I think, I'm hard pressed to find a better keeper in the world. I know there's some people that you've said, I think Jan Oblak is better than De Gea. And I know some people have come back to you and gone, not a bloody chance. De Gea is better than Oblak. Let's talk about De Gea.
I might drop him a message now.
Yeah, listen to the podcast. Yeah. This might interest you. What has happened there? I've not seen such a fall from grace of a keeper in a long, long time.
Since Joe Hart.
Roy Keane is probably watching that game flabbergasted.
Yeah, I bet he is absolutely flabbergasted. As he says, the most overrated goalkeeper, was it in the world, in the league, whatever it was he said. But
yeah, well, overrated was the big adjective there. Yeah.
The odd thing was, so he was at least at fault for the second goal. The first one maybe came at him a bit quick, but you'd expect,
still at him though.
You'd expect a world-class goalkeeper to be saving it. But what's also strange though is that he also pulled off a number of decent saves. I mean, they were sort of camera saves, but
De Gea saves.
Yeah, but it was. He has had a fall from grace, like you say.
I think they should cash in.
Yeah,
I still think he's enough of a name, and there is still quality there for United to get some money for him.
Yes.
And obviously Henderson isn't exactly, when you look at their backup, I think it was very harsh on Romero not to play this game because he has been their cup keeper. I read something stupid, 59 games he's played for United and kept 36 clean sheets.
Yeah.
It was a stat like that. I don't know how it was like that.
Yeah, you've got to think though how many of those games have been in the FA Cup third round against Reading. But
of course I get that. But
yeah, still it's a
I
fantastic
think
record.
I think he's the best second choice keeper in the league. Romero by far, I think.
I think the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that even challenges, which has been doing very well recently, is Emiliano Martinez at Arsenal.
He has.
He's had fantastic game.
He's come in. One thing I've noticed with Martinez is his distribution seems to be quite on point. I've seen. Yeah. He's had some good reflex saves. He made one against, I can't remember who it was. Oh, Mahrez cut in the FA Cup final. Went near post and he very smart save. No, I'll give you that. It's a shame when you see stuff like that because when you've got such a good number one like Leno, and it was the same with Adrian at Liverpool.
Yeah,
Adrian and Martinez could have the games they could play 10 games, be man of the match in every single game, but once they're back fit, they're going to be second choice again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a shame because, as you said, I think he's really stepped up. I think Martinez.
Yeah,
definitely. And fair play to him. Yeah. Obviously, coming into the Arsenal Man City game, didn't see that coming.
No,
Arsenal beating Man City. The master versus the apprentice, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Arsenal played so well. Their first goal was such a delight. It was such a good goal to see. It's like 26, 27 passes.
Yeah.
And I know, reading through some tweets of Arsenal fans and stuff, if they had seen that, the team passing the ball like that, with like Emery or someone in charge for Arteta, they're cacking it. Oh God. But no, they're passing it so well, and then they just find some space, and then boom, all of a sudden that player that's in that space starts running forward with it, and you're like, oh, okay, where's this come from?
Yeah.
And obviously crossing, and both of Aubameyang's finishes were very, very tidy, very, very nice.
Yeah, and one thing that I noticed from after the game is, I don't know if you saw it as well, David Luiz's interview. Yeah. And I think he speaks very well. As much as he can be a liability at times on the pitch, he speaks very well.
He's so annoying. Because we slag him off.
Yeah.
We slag him off. We're like, how on earth have Arsenal kept him? But then he comes out and he basically say, I know people don't like me, but I like me and I'm doing well. And it's like,
it was that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It was that one of, what was he asked? I know there was criticism of Arteta and criticism of Arsenal after the Man City League game, and he goes, and criticism of me as well. You could say that as well. But no, I think he spoke very well in that, and you can't write Arsenal off for winning the FA Cup. I mean, they've got an unbelievable record in the FA Cup as it is.
Yep.
But also after the week that they've had this week, beating Liverpool midweek.
And
then beating Man City at Wembley. Yeah, they're on a... Is this maybe the start of Arteta's real reign? Has he started to gel with players, or is it a fluke? Only time will tell.
You've got to think that potentially could be looking at top 4 next season for Arsenal.
Yeah, and Arsenal will probably want it more in the final because it's their route into Europe.
Yes, because they're currently sat in 10th, I think, right now. So winning the FA Cup definitely gets them into Europe. I wanted to touch upon the United game just very quickly before I ask you your prediction who wins.
Yep.
Harry Maguire has had an odd couple of weeks, hasn't he?
He has, yes.
he's not. He doesn't seem very aware of what's going on around him, which is something that for a centre back, not just centre back, but for one of the world's most expensive centre backs, that I think that's Sunday league stuff, isn't it? You got to know who's around you, not mark your own man for a corner.
Yeah, that's that is poor. That first one. The second one, we didn't have the best of games this evening in the FA Cup semi-final, and I think the third goal will go down as no goal for him. And I did see some suggestions on Twitter that people saying they feel like he's playing like he's concussed, and obviously he had the clash of heads with Eric Bailly. But
no, do you know what? I completely agree with that. He does look dazed.
Yeah, but like you say, it seems like he hasn't quite been himself for a couple of games now, and I know he's particularly with the price tag that his transfer came with. It's very open to criticism. And okay, it's not the value for money that the 75 million was for Van Dijk, but I still think he's been an improvement to United's defence.
And Lindelof as well. Got to say, he seems to have improved massively. I don't know where he's come from.
Yeah.
I think he's had a good few games. And Bailly, obviously, I haven't seen anything as of yet. Yeah. Obviously, when you're listening to this, you might know more, listeners. But right now, I haven't really heard anything what's happened to him, because it was horrible to see. Because he stayed down, and all of a sudden he got up and he was like, "No, get off me! I'll walk off the pitch." And the next thing you see, he's down again and he's on a stretcher. So fingers crossed, it's not something serious and he's okay. But he's been so unlucky, hasn't he? Like every time he comes back, he just gets injured again.
This was his first game back from injury, and then that happened within 45 minutes. Yeah.
So no, fingers crossed, everything's okay there. Elliot, Arsenal, Chelsea, FA Cup final. It's a week on Saturday. Who's winning?
Oh, see. That's a tough one. I'd maybe just edge it Arsenal's favour, really, because they need it more. And although they're very much on the edge of being out of the Champions League, Chelsea still have that second leg game against Bayern Munich.
Yeah, no, very true.
So maybe they'll have one eye on that, which, okay, they're 3-0 down, but you've got to bear in mind that Bayern Munich haven't played for nearly a month now, I think it is. And Chelsea are looking good. But
I think Chelsea will win it.
You think Chelsea?
I think Chelsea will win it. The quality on show, especially after watching today, I didn't think Chelsea would win today, personally. I thought because of the form United's been on.
Yeah, me neither.
But Chelsea just picked them apart. And I know what you mean, Arsenal will want it more, but I feel like Lampard will probably just... Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I just think for Lampard, I think it will mean more for Lampard to win something in his first season than it would Arteta for the time being, because Arteta's in the middle of building something, and I reckon next season I think they'll be definitely 100% up there. I just think Lampard, first full season with this group of players, I think to sign off with an FA Cup, can't say fairer than that.
Yeah.
Obviously, talking about going into Europe and finding routes into Europe, one team that doesn't seem to want to go to Europe is Leicester. Yeah, or at least the Champions League.
It was another quite comprehensive defeat today against Tottenham, wasn't it? And since the restart, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it might just be as simple as they've been missing Ricardo Pereira at right back since then, and I don't know whether he brings that much to the team for it to affect them that much, but he's the only sort of thing that I can think has been missing since the restart, but they just haven't quite been themselves.
They haven't, no. Seem to be getting a bit found out at the moment, where obviously could still, because it got to the point where if Tottenham had won 4-0, Man United would have gone into fourth.
Oh, wow.
Difference. Yeah, so, but now obviously United and Leicester are both level on points, with United having that game in hand because of the FA Cup. So, United could very obviously go into fourth. I can't remember when they played, it Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right.
So, there's that. One thing to note about that Leicester game, though, is the difference that facing Manchester United Harry Kane compared to today's Harry Kane. Obviously, you could tell fitness-wise he wasn't all there the first. Oh, he's top 2 strikers in the world.
You're thinking Lewandowski?
Yeah, he's very good, Lewandowski. But Kane's finishing is just his passing as well. That's something that's criminally underrated for Harry Kane.
Yeah,
it's his ability just to take the ball, look up, and through ball or chip through ball, or just find that pass to keep the attack going. Yeah. And I think he looked very, very good, and Lloris made a couple of good saves today. Tottenham are still... It's definitely Europa. I think Jose Mourinho's most recent press conferences and interviews has very much made it clear that it's Europa League. I think Tottenham are going for.
Yes.
And he said that obviously if you say Tottenham to be in the Europa League is like, but Tottenham to win the Europa League, then that fills the dressing room a bit better. And I can see it. And he seems very confident that if Tottenham do go Europa League, Tottenham would win it. And that's a fair shout, I think.
And
he's got the squad.
He's someone who's won the Europa League before, hasn't he? He won it with United.
He won it with that United side who, you know, no disrespect, but that United side,
they weren't fantastic. But yeah, if you can get another season in, you can bring maybe a couple of your own players in that you want, and he starts to build something that suits Mourinho more than they've got at the moment, then winning the Europa League is very realistic next season.
I can't. I think that would be good for obviously Tottenham finally winning a trophy and Harry Kane having that medal that might keep him going. Obviously, there is that incentive now that winning the Europa League is guaranteed Champions League. Yeah, that's something that was never the point in Europa League. Do you remember that? Yeah. Like before that, what did winning the Europa League get you into the Europa League?
Yes, it got you back into the Europa League, which is why Seville won it 3 years in a row, because they weren't good enough in the league to finish in top four. But
that's such a weird incentive. I'm glad they changed that to you go into the Champions League. Oh, that's miles better incentive. But I can't remember any reason why anyone would ever have wanted to win the Europa League before that. But no, obviously top end of the table, looking towards the bottom end of the table, West Ham mathematically, barring they don't lose like 10 or 12-0, they're safe. So I'm never predicting anything ever again.
But they had a very good game against Watford the other night, and I mean, who knew Declan Rice had a right foot like that?
Well, Ben Foster kind of just went, I don't think anyone was expecting that, but it kind of went in. It was like,
But the last couple of games, West Ham have looked a very decent side.
Yeah, that's annoying. Fair play to West Ham. The Premier League football next season, they could build upon that.
Yeah.
Whether Moyes stays in charge, is he the person to go forward? Based on the past couple of results, maybe, but I think long term, I still don't think Moyes is the man.
One stat that's interesting that I saw was that since the restart, Mikel Antonio has scored the most goals in the Premier League, which, makes sense because he got those 4 goals in the previous game.
Scoring 4 in one game helps,
But Jarrod Bowen has the most assists since the restart.
It's very much been Bowen, Cross, Antonio score.
Yeah, or
from what I've seen, or taking corners.
Yeah, and Souček as well. Yeah,
Souček seems to be scoring some goals. He's a defensive midfielder.
Yeah,
he gets in. He seems to be getting in at that back post and slotting them in. So.
Yeah, in truth, I hadn't seen a lot of Souček before the restart, and I've watched a few games since then, and he looks a player. He looks seriously good.
Enough.
Yeah.
No, I can't say the first. Like he played against Tottenham, he scored, but it was offside or it got ruled out. But since then, he seems to have been scoring, and it's been okay.
Yeah.
Where did you come from? Were you playing for West Ham at the beginning of the season? What happened there? Yeah. So, no, well, fair play. Obviously, just going on, just the last little bit of the Premier League, it's good to know that the referees union are listening to the podcast, because they have gone to the screens and they have looked the screens to see if it was a sending off.
I presume that's why they're making the mistakes. They're tuned in at Stockley Park and they're too engrossed in the podcast to make a decision.
That's it. And then obviously they hear us saying, just look at the screens, and they're like, do you know what? Sam and Elliot have got a good point there. I'm expecting a call from the FA any minute now. Yeah. So this could be the last podcast that we do. or we could be silenced forever. That's an annoying thing. I think that's the second or third time I think it's been used this season. But every time it's been used, it's like, look, the referee's having the final say. Yeah. What a surprise. And the thing I think that does need improving is that the commentator said, the VAR referee at the time has asked the referee to go and look at the screens. Yeah. No, that needs to be the other way around. If the referee goes, I don't think that's a foul, VAR goes, I think that's a foul, then the referee goes, right, let me have a look at it. Yeah. I don't think he should be told to look at the screens. I think he needs to tell them looking at the screens.
It's like what we mentioned last week. VAR means a video assistant referee. And there's no assisting there. It's getting done for him. Yeah.
They're telling him to look at the screens, and I just don't I don't think that's I think the referee needs to be like, I'm looking at the screens of this because I don't agree with I saw this. But I don't know. It's good to see. It's good to see. So around about midday-ish today, I think every single news outlet said that Nigel Pearson was sacked. But I think they forgot to tell the Watford social media team that this has happened, because there was just absolutely nothing. I think about 8:30, so about an hour ago, they finally tweeted, forgot to mention we sacked him earlier. Yeah. Funny enough, though, it was weird because the last tweet before the sacking tweet was Nigel Pearson going, we've got to rebuild, we'll do better next game. Yeah, Watford are going, we will do better next game. Not with you.
Yeah, which...
It's very much anyone that is a manager there is a caretaker manager.
Yeah,
for the next one.
I'm not sure whether he was the third manager of the season.
Yeah, no, he is the third one to be sacked.
He's the third, so they're going to have a fourth manager of the season. Like, you can absolutely guarantee as well that it's going to be someone who's managed Getafe in the last 2 years or something like that, isn't it?
No, it'll be Sanchez. They bring Sanchez back. That's what they do.
But
AD Boothroyd, he'll come back.
I think it was a bit of an odd appointment at the start. It wasn't a Watford appointment because Watford go for like someone who has kind of made a name for themselves abroad but isn't known over here.
No.
And for them to bring in Nigel Pearson, it didn't seem very Watford-like, but...
It did the job. They were bottom of the league.
He's absolutely done the job. He's been absolutely fantastic for them, and unless they've managed to somehow get Sir Alex Ferguson out of retirement, I don't know kind of why they're doing it. He was doing a fantastic job as it was. And
2 games left, granted, against... The thing is that their last 2 games were against Arsenal and Man City.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I couldn't see Watford getting points from there, but I don't care who's in charge of Watford.
Yeah.
I just don't think Watford are getting points there. They're all but safe. I feel like, barring Villa and Bournemouth become the most prolific team in the world the next 2 games, I think he's got Watford off the bottom of the league to outside the relegation zones. He won Manager of the Month, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's
been in charge of Watford for 20 games, and in those 20 games he's picked up 25 points. And to put that into perspective, Grant McCann in his last 19 games has picked up 6 points, and he's still in a job and is preparing for next season.
It's an odd one. I don't. When I was reading the reports of it, I was thinking that can't be right. And then all of a sudden, Martin Tyler and Gary Neville were talking about it on Sky Sports. But I'm like, Watford still haven't tweeted it though. And then Gary Lineker on Match of the Day was like, Watford, and I'm like, but Watford still haven't said anything.
Yeah.
And obviously, just before we started recording, they did. So,
but the thing that I immediately thought is, okay, maybe they've sacked him and they don't want to announce it yet because they've got the replacement lined up. They just want to finalise it, everything like that. But they haven't done that.
No, they've just said he's, we wish him well and his, where he goes next. But and obviously another one.
Yes.
I think that's what literally you're about to say is Huddersfield have sacked the manager.
Pearson was the second surprising sacking of the day. Yeah. And the Cowley brothers, first of all, they did a fantastic job at Lincoln, getting them up to League One. And then they get a big job at Huddersfield, and they've kept them up. Yeah. They won against second in the division West Brom on Friday night, and 2 days later they're getting their P45s. What's going on there?
I did see, however, a report just before we came on. I wanted to see if there's any more news.
Right.
Did see a report that I think they're linked with Bristol City. I think there may be some compensation or something for them to go to Bristol City.
Right.
If that is true, obviously Tuesday we may know more. For everyone that's listening, time of recording, I know nothing's been said. I did read that I think there was links with Bristol City. So if that is the case, then I can semi-understand it a bit more. Weird timing, I think.
But then you don't sack them. You take the compensation from Bristol City for them talking to the... Yeah, it just seems odd. You let them do what they do, and then you take the compensation, rather than... Yeah. You sack them and then leave them open to talking to a new club. Yeah.
So, that one, I don't know. It was quite odd, though, because as you said, with your Nigel Pearson and games and points, I think Cowley had a bit of a better one. Obviously, McCann, 26 games, 6 points.
So, in those last 19 games, with McCann getting 6 points, the Cowley brothers got 23 points and led Huddersfield to safety. And, it just seems an odd one. Just seems a real odd one. And, just leave it till the end of the season at this stage.
It's not like it's far away, is it?
It's Wednesday.
It's the last game.
It's Wednesday.
Wait until Wednesday. Wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
We say Euro roundup. Real Madrid won the league.
And Gareth Bale didn't care in the slightest.
Gareth Bale doesn't care.
I know he's probably getting told to come into the manager's office every day at the moment, but as sort of an onlooker, it is funny. It's
so funny to
he's
watch.
earning
He just wants to play golf.
enormous amounts of money. He's playing with some of the best footballers in the world. He's just won the league. He couldn't care less. I love it.
No, that's it. When they're lifting up Zidane and everything like that, he's just at the side.
Like, yay!
It was his half-assed like fist pumping when everyone was crowded around. It was like, yeah, I won the league. I wonder what time is the golf course open tomorrow.
He's like the opposite of a Sergio Ramos. Sergio Ramos is someone who you'd hate to be playing against you, but you'd love to have on your team. Gareth Bale, you don't want on your team, but you'd love to just see him.
So funny, it's so funny to see.
Yeah,
but no, they've obviously won the league. One of my favourite things to come from that was Messi scored such a trademark free kick.
And he's angry.
Just did not care.
Yeah, he's just like,
whenever I'm at a kickabout, if I score any sort of free kick, I'm going mental. He's just scored like a 30-yard round the wall.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
But there is a lot of unrest in Barcelona, isn't there? A lot.
Yes. I think this summer will bring a new manager, and there's got to be some kind of change in their recruitment, because I don't think they've really had a signing that's worked for a little while, really.
No,
you think
their signings have been shocking. They're all like mid-30 midfielders.
Yeah, and like they've splashed a lot of money on Coutinho, which didn't work out. Dembele, of course, he's still young, there's still time, but he spent more time on the hospital bed than he has on the pitch. Yeah. And then beyond that, what is there?
Braithwaite.
Braithwaite. Vidal is one that you're mentioning, mid-30s midfielder, and okay, he's had a good season, but
yeah, he's done all right there. Yeah,
you expect Barcelona to have some of the best players in the world, and he isn't.
They swapped a 24-year-old up-and-coming Artur for a 31-year-old Pjanic. I can't understand.
No, I can't get that in the slightest, because of what we've seen of him, Artur, as you pronounce. He seemed like he wasn't there yet, but he had the potential to be a big player. Mm-hmm. And they're an ageing squad anyway, as it is.
Yeah, obviously De Jong is still there. He's still, still young, and it's a real weird one because you can't hate the players coming in, because literally, if someone says to you, "Do you want to play for Barcelona?" like in your 30s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I want to play for Barcelona. Yeah. What are you talking about? But you can't blame them, and you can't hate them for it. But the people that have gone, Pjanic, I don't think he's not needed at Barcelona. He's not at all.
No, he's not. No, is he going to bring any more than like a Vidal does? Probably not.
I don't know what Pjanic will bring to Barcelona that Arthur or Artur, however you want to say it, hasn't or won't in the future.
Because I know Pjanic is a great free kick taker, but he'll be second behind one of the best, if not the best, free kick takers in the world, Lionel Messi.
And, his passing range is good. You know, he's a bit of an all-rounder, but I can't.
But if you're insistent on getting rid of Arthur, then I'm sure there's better deals out there than that.
Yeah. But Gareth Bale is a doesn't care.
Yes.
Right, and so we come to the end of the podcast. No context news. There will be news this week. Sorry about last week. Although the pun was amazing and was quite well received, Elliot, just saying. Okay. From my mum. She loved it.
Nice.
I don't care. Nice. So we come on to No Context News to end the podcast, where me and Elliot challenge each other to find the most random news headlines from around the world that really make us think. I don't know what Elliot goes for. He has no idea what I go for. We say the headline, we end the podcast, and we see you next week. Elliot, it is your turn this week. He does have a news headline. Yes. Take it away.
Yes, so this one is from the Northern Echo, and the headline is simply "Mystery as County Durham man keeps receiving yellow rubber ducks from Amazon." So that's the end of it. Okay, I'll wait for you to finish laughing before I do the outro.
No, carry on.
Yeah, so that's the end of this week's podcast. We're on Twitter as ever at TO Goal Podcasts. We're on YouTube if you search for Through a Goal Podcasts. And any follows, likes, subscribes, comments, anything's always appreciated. And thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Sorry, I was damn rude. I don't know why that got me. I've been Sam.
I've been Elliot.
We'll see you next week. Cheers.
Bye-bye.